Hell's Diary 2, The Eater of Echoes. November 12th. I woke to silence, not the peaceful kind, but the kind that hides behind closed doors, waiting. Hell is never quiet. It's supposed to be a symphony of misery. The wails of the damned, the grind of chains, the endless gnawing of beasts beneath the floors. But today, there was nothing. When I opened my eyes, the air felt thick, heavy, as though someone had draped a damp cloth over the world. That's when I noticed it. My shadow was missing. At first, I thought maybe I was still dreaming, but no matter how I twisted my body under the flickering torchlight, nothing followed me. There was no dark shape bending at my feet, just absence. It felt wrong, like the shape of myself had been erased from existence. I asked one of the souls chained to the wall if they noticed it too, but they just stared through me, eyes hollow. No one here talks much. They've been reduced to fragments of who they were. Still, I swore I saw recognition flicker in their gaze, just for a second. They knew something. November 13th. I searched the cell for answers. I don't know what I expected to find. There aren't exactly guidebooks for hell. But the missing shadow gnawed at me. It didn't feel random. Shadows don't just disappear. Not even here. I checked the walls and the floor, tracing the flickering light as it danced along the uneven stone. But wherever I went, no shadow clung to me. There was only emptiness in my wake. The other prisoners avoided me, as if my lack of shadow might spread like a disease. The silence was worse today, too. No footsteps in the hallways. No tortured groaning from the floors below. I could feel the weight of absence pressing in on me, and beneath that silence I sensed something else. A presence. Watching. Waiting. November 14th. I heard it last night. A whisper, distant but sharp, as if carried on the back of the quiet itself. It wasn't in any language I knew, but I understood it all the same. Where do the shadows go when they leave their masters? The voice had a wet, slithering quality, like something dragged from the bottom of a deep well. I tried to ignore it. Maybe it was just a trick of hell, a hallucination, a test to see how far I'd unravel. But it didn't feel like a test. It felt like a warning. Later, as I lay awake on the cold floor, I saw it. Just for a second, in the corner of the room, a shadow that didn't belong. It slithered along the wall, moving without a source, rippling like water in the dim torchlight. And then, it was gone. Just a flicker of darkness slipping out of sight. But I know what I saw. My shadow isn't gone. It's alive. And it's hunting. November 15th. I tried to leave my cell today. The hallway outside stretched on endlessly, darker than usual. The torches burned low, their light flickering feebly against the stone walls. The silence followed me, thick and oppressive, and with it came a growing certainty. Something was drawing closer. I heard the whisper again, closer this time, a rasp just behind my ear. They called it the Eater of Echoes. I turned, but no one was there. Only shadows gathering at the edges of my vision, twisting and coiling like smoke. I moved faster, dragging my feet along the uneven floor. But no matter how far I walked, the hallway never ended. I could feel it, something slithering just behind me, not quite touching, but close enough to chill my skin. It's following me, my own shadow, and it's not alone. November 16th. I found another prisoner, hunched and broken, muttering to himself in the far corner of the corridor. His body was twisted, bones jutting at odd angles, but his eyes gleamed with a sharpness that told me he was still aware. He looked at me, then down at my feet. When he saw the absence of my shadow, he let out a sharp, wheezing laugh. "You've been marked," he whispered, his voice cracked and broken. "It'll take you soon, just like the others." I pressed him for answers, but all he would say was, "Once it starts, it doesn't stop. It takes your shadow first, then it takes your past. And when there's nothing left to take, it swallows you whole." I asked him what it was, and his grin stretched too wide, teeth yellow and cracked. "The Eater of Echoes. It feeds on the things you leave behind, your reflection, your shadow, the sound of your voice. It devours every trace of you until you're nothing but a hollow shell." He started laughing again, the sound dry and brittle like leaves crumbling underfoot. I left him there. There was nothing more I could do. November 17th. I ran today. I don't know where I thought I could go. There are no exits in hell. But the fear had taken root, and I couldn't stand still. The hallways twisted and folded in on themselves, warping as I sprinted through them. Shadows slithered along the walls, flickering in the torchlight, growing thicker and darker the farther I ran. And then I heard it, a whisper, not from the walls but from the darkness trailing behind me. "You are almost ready." I stumbled, heart pounding, breath ragged. The shadows surged forward, coiling around my feet, my legs climbing toward my throat. I kicked and thrashed, but there was no escaping them. And then, for just a moment, I saw it, the Eater of Echoes. It wasn't a shape, not exactly. It was a space where no light could exist, an absence so complete it hurt to look at. It moved like liquid shadow, shifting and twisting, leaving nothing in its wake. I felt it brush against me, cold and hollow, and in that moment I knew it wasn't just after my shadow, it wanted everything. My memories, my voice, every trace of who I had ever been. November 18th. I can't remember my name. It slipped away sometime during the night, lost in the silence that clings to everything here. The Eater is close now. I can feel it in the air, pressing against my skin, wrapping itself around the edges of my thoughts. I tried to speak today, just to hear the sound of my own voice. But when I opened my mouth, nothing came out. The words were gone before they could form, swallowed by the darkness gathering around me. There's no escape. The Eater doesn't leave anything behind. It devours everything you are, piece by piece, until there's nothing left. No shadow, no name, no echo. November 19th. I saw my reflection today, not in a mirror, there are no mirrors in hell, but in the polished surface of a stone wall. For a moment, I thought I was safe, but then it moved. The reflection grinned, wide and hungry, eyes hollow and black. And in that grin, I saw the truth. The Eater had already taken me. It wasn't following me. It was me. Every step I take, every breath I draw, it grows stronger. And soon there will be nothing left. No shadow, no reflection, just silence.